In this video, we will discuss three different types of reactors used in industry and their advantages and disadvantages. The purpose of a reactor is simply to convert reactants into products. Firstly, you have the continuous stirred tank reactor, also known as a CSTR. In a CSTR, the reactants flow in continuously from the top of the reactor and is mixed instantly by an impeller. Meanwhile, the product flows out continuously. As the mixer is thorough, the conditions inside the tank, such as concentration, temperature, are essentially the same everywhere. This is a big advantage for the CSTR, as the uniform conditions make the process easy to control. So if you need tight temperature control, or you're handling a reaction that's sensitive to hotspots, a CSTR gives you an even, predictable environment. It's also straightforward to operate continuously for long periods, which makes it a favorite for large-scale, steady production. You'll typically see CSTRs used for liquid phase reactions, which is the main purpose of the impeller for mechanical agitation. Also, gases mix well enough on their own, so stirring rarely adds any benefit. However, instant mixing is also its weakness because fresh reactants get diluted into the bulk immediately. The average concentration inside the tank is always lower than what you started with. Lower concentration means slower reaction rate for a given conversion. A CSTR generally therefore needs a larger volume than a plug flow reactor to do the same job. Next, we have the batch reactor. For a batch process, you do not have any continuous flow. Firstly, you charge the vessel with a fixed amount of reactant and seal it. Then you let the reaction run for a set amount of time while monitoring the temperatures and pressures. Nothing enters or leaves while the main reaction is happening. As there is no continuous dilution like you have with a CSTR, you get a high conversion per batch because the reactant concentration starts high and the reaction is simply given time to run and go to completion. Once the reaction is complete, the reactor contents can be discharged and the reactor can be cleaned down and prepared for the next batch. Each batch is self-contained, therefore the batch reactor offers flexibility and allows you to run completely different products through the same vessel as long as the vessel is cleaned thoroughly or if the products are compatible with each other. That makes it ideal for small-scale production such as chemicals and pharmaceuticals, where you might be making many different products in low volumes rather than one product continuously like you would have in a refinery, for example. The disadvantage of a batch reactor is time, as you have to charge, react, discharge, clean and then recharge, all of which takes time where you're not producing any product. For large-scale, high-volume production, that dead time between batches makes the batch reactor far less efficient than a continuous process. It also means more manual intervention and tighter operator oversight, as somebody has to charge, react, clean every time. Finally, you have the Plug Flow Reactor, also known as a PFR. It's effectively a long tube where reactants enter at one end and flow through as a continuous stream. But unlike a CSTR, there is no back mixing. Each plug of fluid moves through the tube without mixing with the fluid ahead or behind it. As that plug travels down the tube, the reaction keeps happening, so concentration is high at the inlet and drops progressively as it moves towards the outlet. The lack of back mixing is the PFR's biggest strength because fresh reactants never get diluted in the way that it does in a CSTR. The average concentration through the reactor is high, which means faster reaction rates and higher conversion for a given volume. For the same job, a plug flow reactor is typically smaller than an equivalent CSTR. It's also continuous, so you get the steady ongoing production a CSTR also offers. Unlike the CSTR and batch reactor, PFRs aren't tied to one phase. You can get them running gas phase catalytic reactions like steam reforming just as often as continuous liquid phase processes like polymerization and esterification. The trade-off is control and flexibility because conditions change along the length of the tube concentration, and there's no single point where you can say that this is the temperature which represents the whole reactor. That makes temperature control harder, especially for reactions that release a lot of heat. Therefore, hotspots can develop along the tube. PFRs are also far less flexible. You can't easily change what's being made without redesigning or reconfiguring the system, which makes them better suited for large-scale single products, continuous manufacturing, rather than varied small batch work. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the different types of reactors used in industry. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like and a share, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.